What's up, guys? This is Justin here. So how much does my luxury lifestyle in Manila, Philippines actually cost on a monthly basis? Let's dive right in and let's find out. Here's a breakdown of my costs after moving directly to Manila from Phoenix, Arizona in the United States. So the first thing is my housing and utilities category. So my fully furnished studio is $620 per month, and I'm renting at the Proscenium at Rockwell in Makati, which is in Manila, of course, which is in Philippines, of course. It is one of the more expensive options, and it is definitely a luxury style of condo, and it has the nice cabinets, the nice shower, washer and dryer combination, you name it. It's pretty high end for Philippines. And then next, Wi-Fi. I use the 5G Rocket Wi-Fi Smart Pro, which gives me about 100 megabytes per second. It's contract free. That is $18 US a month, and my water and my electric bills combined are about $20 US a month. So all in all, we got about $658 per month for my housing and utilities expenses. For my food and body care, so I buy premium groceries, which run me about $400 per month. And when I say premium, I mean I buy organic stuff, and I also buy like protein powders and wines and stuff like this. And so that's about, and that also feeds two people, me and myself and my girlfriend. I spend about $100 a month on takeout and restaurants, and I spend about $50 a month on body care products and bathroom necessities like toothbrushes, toilet paper, shampoo, stuff like that, razors, probably about $50 a month. So about $550 total for $400 for premium groceries, $100 for takeout, $50 for body care products, about $550 for that category. So next is transportation and entertainment. So I spend about $60 per month on Grab, and that averages me about 10 rides, because that's about all I need, about $6 a ride. And then entertainment, like $40 a month. That's just basically like going to the cinema, the movie theater, or going out and doing something twice, 2, 3, 4 times a month with my girlfriend. So that's about $100 a month for that. And last but not least, miscellaneous things like video streaming services. I spend about $20 a month for Netflix, $10 per month for a haircut, and about $18 per month for my cell service for 5G Smart Unlimited data for the cell service. This runs me about $48 a month, and the final total for my luxury lifestyle in Manila is $1,356 US per month. That's not bad at all. I left a couple things out that are discretionary that you wouldn't have as expenses that are not essentials. Like I run a business and I have business expenses, but that business also produces profits far greater than what the expenses are. So I didn't include those here because it just didn't make any sense to do that. I also have a life insurance policy that's like $20 a month. With State Farm, that gives me $180,000 in life insurance coverage, just in case. And I also have a rather expensive United States health insurance policy that I might consider switching to a much cheaper health insurance policy because I'm no problem probably being self-insured, but that's just another consideration and thing to think about. So what are the upsides of living in Manila? Let's dive right into that. For older men, they can date beautiful, younger Filipino women. That's a huge upside. It's a reason why a lot of foreigners decide to actually come here. As you've just seen, you have an amazingly good lifestyle at a really low cost. The restaurants in the city are very, very good if you know where to go. In the Makati area, they're great, especially the Power Plant Mall, the Podium Mall, and a BGC area. There's a lot of great restaurants there as well with good food it's pretty affordable as well. Everyone here speaks English for the most part. Everyone here for the most part is very welcoming and friendly. Those are two excellent, it's a very hospitable country. You feel welcome here as a foreigner. And they speak English, so it's great. Those are just two fantastic things that make it an attractive option. The weather here is pretty good. It doesn't really get that cold. It's kind of like it's a mix between dry and humid depending on the time of year and depending on which part of the Philippines you're in. If you're in the city, it's a little bit drier than if you're out in the islands, out in the province. It's going to be a little bit more humid. But just related to the geography, and also I think just the human activity in that specific area. What's great about this country is if you're craving like the beach resort type of lifestyle, you can do that full-time or temporarily by traveling to the other islands, because there's 7,000 plus islands in the Philippines that offer the type of experience. And then if you want the modern conveniences of the city life with the very nice restaurants, the very nice malls, the very fast internet, the very nice amenities, then you can just cruise right back over to Manila to get those. But there's also some other cities like Davao City and a couple other ones, Cebu City, that are pretty good. But I think Manila is definitely going to be leading the pack as far as the highest quality of city for those things I just referenced. The medical services, from my experience, are moderately good. I would give them about a 7 out of 10. When it comes to their healthcare services, coming from Phoenix, Arizona, I'd have to give Phoenix like a 9.5 out of 10. The health services in Phoenix, Arizona in the United States are very expensive, but they are very top notch. And whenever I had to see a doctor in pretty much any clinic or hospital for almost any situation, I felt like they really gave a giant crap about my situation and how to fix it, whether it was from a synthetic type prescription. And I also worked with other doctors that are fond of the natural approaches to health, which I've always been as well. I have a very strict, not strict, a very, not strict by far not the right word. I have a very balanced diet and lifestyle, I believe, and I don't like to solve health problems most of the time with man-made drugs, because they usually create a new problem after solving your original problem. You're just trading problems. So when you solve your health problems naturally and organically, you can usually combat the source instead of the symptoms. But anyway, the reason I gave it a 7 out of 10 instead of like a 9 or 10 out of 10 is because although everyone speaks English here fluently, there's a difference between speaking English fluently and speaking English as your native tongue or native language. If English is your native language, like if you're from the United States and that's the first language you learned, you're gonna understand English on a completely different level than if you're just fluent in English. So there's a difference. When you're communicating with doctors, you wanna make sure they can only speak, in my experience, English fluently. So if you're getting, like, I'm a very articulate native English speaker who's read hundreds of books and was always just naturally enjoyed English and happened to be good at communicating. I often use words that are in my vocabulary that folks in the Philippines don't understand. So I have to simplify what I'm saying in my head because I'm not talking to an American or European, United Kingdom or Canadian person who would have English as a native language. So when it comes to healthcare, there is a bit of a gap in the language because you need to use very specific words to describe what you're feeling and that type of thing. So other people might have different experiences, but that's the only thing I can really be critical about. But I still listed it as an upside because overall they still have pretty good services, and they are definitely less expensive services for eye care, ear care, primary physician, and all the hospitals, emergency services and stuff like that. So it's still pretty rock solid. So what are some of the downsides of living in Manila? Let's dive right into those. There's pretty poor air quality here, just like most cities on the planet. I mean, Los Angeles doesn't have good air quality. In California, I would not assume, neither does New York City. So you're gonna have stuff like that. So it's like dusty, it's gonna be smelly. I would recommend you just buy a good air purifier, invest in one of those for like $180, and then change the filter every 6 months, run it 3 or 4 times a week while you're sleeping for 8 hours, just so you're breathing in some clean air while you're sleeping, and so your lungs and your bloodstream gets freshened up from any pollutants that might have been unfortunately absorbed just by being in this geography. So there are bug problems everywhere in Manila, but they are easily resolvable when you follow my direct advice I'm about to give you in the next 5 seconds. So make sure you buy floor drain covers and shower drain covers, and also inspect your studio or apartment before you rent it. Make sure there's no holes in the walls. If there are, ask the landlord to caulk any holes in the floor or your cabinets, and then also buy your own drain covers, and you should not have too big of a problem. There are going to be bugs no matter where you go, but if you prevent them from getting into your place, you'll never actually see one, and it won't disturb you or ruin the quality of your life, because they'll come up through the drains in the shower, they'll realize they can't enter, and they'll turn around and try to find someone else's studio to go into or apartment. So that's a quick solution to a problem you will have. Traffic is not too much fun here. Luckily, most of the Grab rides I take have been pretty smooth, but it does take a long time to go 1 mile. If you're gonna meet a friend at a restaurant during, like, at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. on a Thursday or Friday, and you're taking a Grab ride and it's 1 kilometer, which is like 0.8 of a mile, it's gonna take 20 minutes. The cab drivers, or the Grab or cab, they usually have the air conditioning or fan on, and they're usually very friendly and talking with you, or just listen to music, or sometimes they're quiet, but overall, it's not a big deal. Like when you're inside of a nice car, it's like very peaceful and calm. But the moment you open the door, it's loud, it's crazy, it's dusty, and it's hot. It's like a crazy situation. So it's like a crazy world. It's like a different world. Like when you enter into if you have a nice apartment or you're driving in a nice car, you're very insulated, you're like in a bubble. The moment you get out of the car, or the moment you go out of your apartment, it's just like, it feels like when you first get here for the first couple of weeks, it's just, if you're not used to the city life, it feels like chaotic, but you get used to it. So it gets very loud here if you are not in a well-insulated and noise soundproofed apartment. I happen to have a noise and soundproofed apartment. It gets rid of the noise pretty good, I should say. For example, if I open up my window here, it can get aggressively loud between the police calls, the ambulances, and just typical city stuff. It's very loud because there's a booming population, there's music. But if you get a nice apartment or condo that's well insulated and soundproof, it'll cancel out most of the noise. You'll get a good night of sleep and you can take naps throughout the day. You shouldn't have too much of a problem. But I do want to mention that because if you go on, depending on what type of place you rent, where you rent, just be conscious of if you're someone who doesn't love a ton of noise, just try to take that into account. Be aware of the laws here. They will surprise you. The laws in Philippines are going to be probably different than your country of origin. So go on Google, read a couple articles about the laws here. You will be surprised, and knowledge is power. So just do that. And last but not least, for the final downside of living in Philippines, because Philippines is still considered a developing country, it's more of on the poor side. It's still considered sort of a poor country. So just know the implications of living in a poor country versus living in a rich country pertaining to everything, pertaining to basically what goes on in poor countries versus what goes on in rich countries. So you can fill in the blanks here. I'm not going to spell it out for you. I'm giving you a giant hint. You can go on Google and you can research and just understand the differences and understand what that means and understand how the legal system, the justice system is going to be. So just keep that into account. And again, knowledge is power, but that's the last downside I could think of living in Manila or the Philippines. So if you're looking for a very high quality luxury lifestyle at very low cost, if you want to work here, if you want to live here, and potentially retire here and then build a life or lifestyle here, Manila might be the right place for you. You can have a very high quality of life for significantly less than you would ever be able to have in New York City or Los Angeles or Phoenix, Arizona. Any of those, if you're in the city, loving the city life with the modern amenities, you would never ever be able to live off of $1,396 a month and have premium organic groceries, restaurants, a nice fully furnished condo up in the apartment with amenities like a gym and a giant pool. There's some things I didn't mention that are still pretty kick butt, but you get a lot of the awesome stuff here that you won't see in most of the first world rich countries like United States, Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, etc. Is going to cost you far more. So definitely this is a great option for expats, foreigners, or anyone who just wants to know more what this country is interested. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, consider sharing it, and consider subscribing. I'm going to be making more content like this now, again, and in the future. And over here, there's 10 things that I learned about Manila recently that surprised me that you might want to know. And over here, there's 10 more things I want to teach you before you rent an apartment here. Problems you can solve in advance to save you lots of time and energy. All right, this has been Justin Spencer, and I hope you got value out of this video. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.